This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner here at Shea Stadium in New York as the Mets and the Cubs get set for the third and concluding game of the current series that now stands at one game each. Today on the mound for the visiting Chicago Cubs will be 26-year-old right-hander Bill Hand. And pitching for the New York Mets will be 33-year-old right-hander Bob Shaw. We'll be back with the start of today's game in just one moment. Now, here's a word from Rheingold.
I don't know the reason. I can't tell you why. The more people like Rheingold, the beer extra dry. But we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something right. Yes, we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something absolutely right. Positively, absolutely right.
Here at Shea Stadium this Sunday afternoon, it is a beautiful day for a baseball game, and there are plenty of seats available, so if you happen to be in the vicinity and want to attend a baseball game, come on out by all means. Now the starting lineup. First for the visiting Chicago Cubs, leading off and playing center field is Adolfo Phillips. Batting second at second base is Glenn Beckert. Playing right field and batting third is Billy Williams. And batting fourth and playing third base, Ron Santo. Batting fifth is the first baseman, Ernie Banks. Batting sixth is the left fielder, Byron Brown. Batting seventh and catching, Randy Huntley. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Don Kessinger. Batting ninth and pitching, Bill Hand. Right now, the umpires have come out to the home plate area. Captain Ron Santo is there with the lineup cards for the Cubs, and here comes manager Wes Westrom with the Met lineup cards. The starting lineup for the Mets, leading off and playing second base is Chuck Hiller. Batting second in right field, Al Luplow. Batting third at first base, Ed Cranesville. Batting fourth is the left fielder, Larry Elliott. Batting fifth in center field, Cleon Jones. Batting sixth at third base, Ken Boyer. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, Ed Pursue. Batting eighth is the catcher, Jerry Grody. Batting ninth and pitching, Bob Shaw. This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Rheingold Breweries Incorporated, the Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation, and the Sun Oil Company, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Well, last night was a big one here at Shea Stadium as more than 50,000 fans turned out for Old Timers Night as the 1950 All-Star Game was briefly recreated and the National Leaguers won it by a score of 2-0. But more importantly, the fans got an opportunity to see and greet some of the great stars of the past and to see them perform briefly on the field. Then the New York Mets topped off the evening with a victory over the Chicago Cubs to assure them of finishing out this month with a better than 500 percentage, and thus it becomes the first month ever that the Mets have played a full month schedule and finished with a better than 500 percentage. Right now, the New York Mets are taking the field. Bob Shaw is out there firing down the warm-up tosses. As we start play today, the Mets have won 46 games and lost 55. The Chicago Cubs have won 32 games and lost 70. They are 28.5 games back of the league-leading Pittsburgh Pirates. Mets are 14 games out of first place, so the Mets are leading the Chicago Cubs by 14.5 games. The Mets are closer to first place than they are to last place in the National League standings. On the field now, the Mets have Ed Cranesville at first base, Chuck Hiller at second base, Ed Pursue at shortstop, and Ken Boyer at third. Larry Elliott is in left field. Cleon Jones is in center field, and Al Luplo is in right field. The San Francisco Giants will be coming in here tomorrow night. They will be here on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. We'd like to emphasize that there are good box and reserve seats available for all of those Giant games coming up starting tomorrow night. The Giants right now, as of today, are in third place in the National League standings, having sustained a double loss at the hands of the Atlanta Braves yesterday. Pittsburgh Pirates are on top. The Los Angeles Dodgers are second, a game and a half out. The Giants are a game and a half out, 3 percentage points back of the Dodgers. St. Louis Cardinals have won 6 straight and are in fourth place, 6 games out. The Phillies are in fifth place, 7.5 games out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at Shea Stadium in New York, our national anthem. With the playing of the national anthem, the Mets are on the field, and the Chicago Cub coaches come out to take their post. Whitey Lockman coming around to coach at first base, and Pete Weiser on the lines at third. Manager Leo DeRocher pacing in the dugout at this moment. Yesterday and last night's results in the National League: the Mets defeated the Cubs 6-3. Cincinnati Reds beat the Houston Astros 5-1. Philadelphia Phillies beat the Pirates 4-1. The Atlanta Braves beat the Giants 6-5 in 11 innings in the afternoon game, 15-2 in the night game. The St. Louis Cardinals beat the Dodgers by a score of 3-1. The American League yesterday and last night, the White Sox shut out the Yankees 6-0. The Red Sox beat Washington 8-2. Minnesota shut out the league-leading Baltimore Orioles 7-0. Kansas City beat Detroit 2-1. California beat Cleveland 2-1. Starting play today in the American League, Baltimore is on top. Detroit 13.5 games out. The California Angels are also 13.5 games out, 1 percentage point back of the second-place Detroit Tigers. Now, Adolfo Phillips is up to lead off for the Cubs. Here's Bob Shaw's pitch, and it is inside for a ball. Bob Shaw, in his 11 starts as a Met, has been scored on in the first inning 8 times. He has allowed the opposition at least 1 run in the first inning in his last 5 starts. It has been a first-inning jinx as far as Shaw has been concerned. Ball is bunted foul on the third base line and out of play. Bob Shaw says that it's all a matter of rhythm, and that once he has established the rhythm, which is difficult to establish for him apparently early, that he can continue, and that's sort of the pattern that he has followed. Overall, Bob Shaw has won 8 games and lost 9. As a Met, he has won 7 games and lost 5. Adolfo Phillips is hitting .267, 12 home runs and 25 runs batted in. The 1-1 pitch is hit high in the air into left field. Larry Elliott slips the glasses, moves in, and he drops the ball. And moving to second is Adolfo Phillips. Larry Elliott had the ball in his glove and dropped it. It is an error charged against left fielder Larry Elliott. It is a two-base error, and now he is out for missing first base. An appeal play is put on, and Phillips is out for missing first base. As Bob Shaw got the ball, puts it over there to Ed Kranepool, and the call is made by Al Barlick, the umpire at first, as Adolfo Phillips, thinking that the fly ball would be caught easily, did not bother to touch the bag at first. So he is out, and Glenn Beckert is up, hitting .295 with 1 home run and 36 runs batted in. Now the pitch is low for a ball to Beckert. 1 man out and nobody on base. So Adolfo Phillips was out on the appeal play at first after the ball had been dropped by Larry Elliott out in left field. Now the pitch is low for a ball. 2-0 is the count to Beckert, with Billy Williams waiting in the on-deck circle. The wind is ripping the flag out toward right field here this afternoon at Shea Stadium. There's 1 man out, there's nobody on base. Cubs batting in the top half of the first inning. Now Bob Shaw's pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. 2-1. The umpire's Mel Steiner behind the plate. Al Barlick at first, Augie Donatelli at second, and Stan Landis at third. Bob Shaw again pops and pitches. Here's a swing and a ground ball to short. Taken on a big hop by Berceau and across the Kranepool, and there are 2 men out. Kranepool, of course, gets the put out on Adolfo Phillips, who did not reach first base officially. Billy Williams is up now, hitting .301. He has 20 home runs and 58 runs batted in.
Williams.
2 men out with nobody on. Ron Santo moves out to the on-deck circle. Now Shaw's delivery, and it's low for a ball. Defensively, the Mets have swung around toward right, playing Billy Williams to pull. Billy Williams last year hit 34 home runs as a Chicago Cub to set a new club high for Cubs as far as left-hand batters are concerned. Since the runner, of course, on Phillips did not officially reach first base, there is no error charged against Larry Elliott. Here's a swing and a drive deep to right, and it is going foul up into the mezzanine deck. The 34 home runs hit by Williams last year was an all-time mark for the Cubs as far as left-hand batters are concerned. For right-hand batters, of course, Hack Wilson holds that record. He hit 56, which is the National League record. This is a 1-1 pitch. Swung on it on the ground to short. Taken there by Berceau and played across the Kranepool, and the side is out. The play on Adolfo Phillips went 7-4-3 if you're keeping score. On the appeal play at first, no error. It was a race because the runner never officially reached first base. Top of the first, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Score at the end of a half inning is Cubs nothing, and the Mets coming to bat.
Just Jazz. However you enjoy your kicks and jazz, we feel certain that you'll get your fill on the weekly program Just Jazz, heard over WGY. The program is heard usually on Tuesdays from 8 till 11 in the evening. But during the Mets baseball season, the show is heard on other nights of the week. In any case, Just Jazz is heard one night each week. Suggestion: send your name and address to Just Jazz Schedule, care of WGY in Schenectady, New York. And by return mail, you'll have the listings of each of the Just Jazz programs throughout the summer. This is Randy English. Be advised, it's cool, it swings, it's for you, and it's Just Jazz, here at 810 on your radio dial. Over WGY in Schenectady.
We're going now to the bottom half of the first inning, and it'll be Chuck Hiller coming up to lead off for the Mets. Bob Shaw got by the first inning and got the side in order, actually, as Adolfo Phillips did not officially get on base after Larry Elliott dropped his pop fly and left. He was out on the field play at first, so he never did officially reach first base. And then Shaw got the next two batters short to first. Beckert and Williams both grounding out short to first. So Chuck Hiller is up now with a .324 batting average, 1 home run and 8 runs batted in. Bill Hands is on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. He's won 7 games this year and lost 8. Right-hand pitcher facing a left-hand batter. Ron Hunt is still being rested by manager Wes Westrom. Here is the pitch low for a ball. Hunt is still beset with a variety of injuries and ailments. He's able to play. However, manager Westrom wanted him to have a couple of days rest to get set for the Giants series opening up tomorrow night because he has an excellent record at the plate against the Giants. Now the pitch is low for a ball. It's 2-0 to Chuck Hiller. The Cubs on the field have Ernie Banks at first, Glenn Beckert at second, Don Kessinger at short, and Ron Santo at third. Byron Brown in left, Adolfo Phillips in center, and Billy Williams in right. Randy Hundley catching. Fastball in there for a call strike, 2-1 to Chuck Hiller. On the coaching mound, Berra at first, then Herzog at third for the Mets. Here's a fastball low inside. Bill Hands goes behind. 3 balls and 1 strike. Again the delivery, and he walks him. Chuck Hiller draws a walk to open up for the Mets here in the bottom half of the first inning. It'll be Al Luplow hitting .242 with 3 home runs and 19 runs batted in.
Right fielder, Al Luplow.
Bill Hands against the Mets has won none and lost 2. That is his lifetime record against the New York Mets. Here's a swing and a foul ball backing out of play. Hands lost to the Mets 5-1 on May the 8th and 9-3 on June the 25th. He is from Rutherford, New Jersey. Ernie Banks at first is holding against the base runner, Chuck Hiller. Down to Luplow is strike 1. Hands throws over to first, but Hiller's back safely. The wind still rippling the flag pretty stiffly out toward right field. Beautiful baseball day. Here's a pitch high and away. Sail away out there. Gloved by Hundley as he moved out. 1-1. Ed Craneville has moved out to the on-deck circle. This will be a 1-1 pitch. Swung on it in the air to left. Byron Brown is there. And he makes the catch. Halfway on the fly ball to left. Chuck Hiller goes back to first. 1 man out, and now Ed Craneville, the first baseman, hitting .244 with 10 home runs and 38 runs batted in. Bill Hands looks in now to Randy Hundley to get a sign. Works up and set, and throw over to first. Hiller is back safely. Last night the Mets played Ed Bersu at second base with McMillan at short. Now the pitch swung on and foul back. It's out of play. Strike 1 count to Craneville. Larry Elliott's waiting on deck. Hiller takes his lead. Strike 1 delivery. Swung on and missed. Strike 2 now to Ed Craneville. Joe Gibbon is scheduled to pitch tomorrow night for the Giants. For the Mets, Bob Friend is scheduled to go. Hiller takes his lead, and here's the pitch. In there for a call, strike three. Fastball, cut the inside corner. Brainpool is a strikeout victim. He turns and walks back toward the dugout. And Larry Elliott's coming up with 2 men out. Hitting .298. He has 2 home runs and 14 runs batted in. Wide stance at the plate. Left-hand batter facing a right-hand pitcher. Hiller takes the lead at first, and the pitch to Elliott is a breaking ball down low for ball 1. In the National League standings, the Mets are in 9th place, 1 game behind the Atlanta Braves, 2 games behind the Houston Astros. Now 1-0 pitch, and it is low for a ball, 2-0. Cincinnati Reds have now moved ahead of Houston in the standings. Cincinnati 6th, Houston 7th. Atlanta 8th, the Mets 9th, the Cubs 10th. This will be a 2-0 delivery to Larry Elliott. Swung on and missed. Breaking pitch. It's 2-1. Throw to first. Hiller's back safely. Sliding in down there. Al Barlick, the umpire, stationed at first base. On a play such as that in which Phillips was out in the first inning, the umpire, even though aware that the runner has missed first, makes no call until there is an appeal. The field constitutes placing the ball with the first baseman on the bag. Here's a pitch low, and it's 3-1. And when that circumstance occurs, it is the duty of the umpire then to make a call. And Barlick was emphatic in his call about, obviously, Adolfo Phillips, figuring there would be no play on the high routine pop to left, simply just didn't touch the bag as he rounded. This will be a 3-1 delivery. Instead of throw to first, and Hiller's back safely. Larry Elliott settling himself back into the batter's box. Chuck Hiller takes his lead at first. Bill Hands off the stretch with a 3-1 pitch. It's low, and Elliott draws a walk. That'll move Hiller up to second. Elliott's at first, Hiller's at second. 2 men out. Cleon Jones with a 5-game hitting streak is coming up now. Jones is hitting .280 for the season, 5 home runs and 36 runs batted in. Leo DeRocher standing up, barbering a little with his catcher, Randy Hundley. Still looking back into the dugout is Hundley, and now he turns to get to flash a sign out to Bill Hand, who has walked 2 batters here in the bottom half of the first inning. Now umpire Mel Steiner behind the plate takes off his nuts. He is now getting to barbering. It's DeRocher and Steiner. DeRocher from the dugout. Steiner takes off the mask. Leo is pointing out onto the field. And it has begun early here this afternoon at Shea Stadium. Well, it's obvious now that many of the remarks that DeRocher was making to his catcher were intended for the umpire, Mel Steiner. Here's a pitch, and it's outside for a ball. 1-0. A little indirect communication that quickly became direct communication. Chuck Hiller is the runner at second for the Mets, and Larry Elliott is the runner at first. 2 men out, no score in the bottom half of the first inning. Ken Boyer has moved out to the on-deck post. Hands goes to the rosin bag now. Fingers it and flips it aside. Leans forward to get a sign from Randy Hundley. Met runners lead at first and second. And the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and sliced off foul to the right side out of play. 1-1 now to Cleon Jones. Crowd reaction to a catch made in the stand. Leon Jones settled himself carefully back into the batter's box. Batting number 5 in manager Wes Westrum's Met batting order here this afternoon. Runners lead at first and second. And the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball over the top of Leon Jones' head. He ducks down into the dirt to get out of the way. And that runs the count behind at 2 balls and 1 strike. Our Mr. Al Moore of Rheingold is a picture of sartorial splendor on this summer Sunday afternoon. Here in connection with the Salute to Labor ceremony on the field just before the start of the ball game. Ably handled by our Mr. Ralph Kiner, who did admirably well to get out of bed after participating in the Old Timers game last night.
It only took 2 boys and my wife to get me up.
1 bottle of liniment and a few encouraging words. 2 balls and 1 strike to count now to Cleon Jones at the plate. Net runners lead at first and second. And the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. The count's leveled at 2-2.
You know, Lindsay, you're an expert on historical splendor. When did white shoes come back in? Al's got a pair of white shoes on.
They're coming. He's a year ahead. They'll be here next year. He's a year ahead of his time or 15 years too late. I'm not sure which.
They don't even have crepe soles.
He's all set. It's what you wear on the quarterdeck, I think. Runners leading now at first and second. And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's looped to second, taken by Beckett, a soft line drive, and he is out. The Stars retired, no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 walks, 2 left. Score at the end of an inning as the Cubs nothing and the Mets nothing. The Giants are coming in here tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. There are good Boston reserve seats available for any or all of those games. Then the St. Louis Cardinals, who are riding the crest of a 6-game winning streak, will be in here Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader Sunday. Tickets are now on sale for any of those games at a wide variety of convenient ticket locations. Here at Shea Stadium, the advance ticket window is open 7 days a week, 8 to 6 weekdays, 9 to 5 Saturdays and Sundays. In Manhattan at Grand Central Station, the Met ticket office is at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue route. It's open weekdays 8 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 to 4. Also in Manhattan, Macy's at 34th Street and 7th Avenue has a Met ticket office located on the main floor near the 7th Avenue entrance. For Long Islanders, there is a Met ticket office at Macy's in Huntington, Long Island, in the Walt Whitman Shopping Center. It's open during regular store hours. In addition, reservations for box and reserve seats may be made at all Howard Clothes stores during regular store hours. Also at any branch of the manufacturer's Hanover Trust Company during banking hours. Tickets may be obtained by mail by writing Ticket Manager, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Box seats are $3.50 each. Reserve seats $2.50 each. Add 25 cents to each order to cover mailing costs. At the top of the second, Ron Santo will be up. Ralph, last night, after the ball game, talking to some of the old timers, I confirmed all of your allegations about the way right-hand batters feel about Ewell Blackwell. I was talking to Willie Jones, and Ewell Blackwell walked up, and Willie said, "You know I hit 400 against Blackwell?" I said, "A right-hand batter hit 400 against Blackwell?" He said, "1 hit and 400 times his bat." Ron Santos up there now, hitting .309. He hits the ball in the air to right. Luplo's going back. He's there in the warning track to haul it down. Well hit ball to right field off the bat of Ron Santo. One away, and Ernie Banks is coming up. He had a homer last night. He's hitting .269. He has 6 home runs, 42 runs batted in. When Blackwell walked up, Willie Jones said, and he said it very emphatically, this fella should have had a league all by himself because he was a fella who should have been in a league all by himself. Here's a pitch in for a called strike.
I know a lot of hitters, right-hand batters, that actually talk very roughly to Blackwell, something they would have never done when he was in his prime.
You're right. A strike one count now to Ernie Banks. Now Bob Shaw with the pitch. Swung on, and Ernie Banks sends it to right center. Loop blows over, and he makes the catch for the out. So there are 2 men out, and Byron Brown's coming up. He's playing left field today. George Altman played left in the first 2 games of the series. Brown's hitting .257, 13 home runs, and 39 runs batted in.
Byron Brown, number 29.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, and Byron Brown delivers a base hit. The first for the Cubs off Bob Shaw. He's on at first with a ground single up the middle, and catcher Randy Hundley will be coming up now. Hundley's hitting .246. He has 11 home runs and 39 runs batted in.
Number 9.
The Giants got Randy Hundley and the fellow who's pitching today, Bill Hans, from the Giant organization in exchange for Lindy McDaniel and Don Landrum. Bob Shaw checks the runner at first base now off the stretch. The pitch to Hundley, and it's in there for a called strike. You recall last week when the Mets were in Houston, Larry Dierker started against him and left early with a soreness in his shoulder. Dierker has been placed on the disabled list by the Houston Astros. Here's the pitch outside for a ball. Ray Sadecki, the left-hander obtained by the Giants from the Cardinals in exchange for Orlando Cepeda, was used in relief in a mop-up role in Atlanta last night. In a game that the Giants lost 15-2, it was Sadecki in there in relief. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and lined into center. Cleon Jones comes in and makes the catch on the line drive to center field. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. The score at the end of an inning and a half is Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing.
Yes, this is the month when we dealers worry, and you new car buyers reap the benefits in cash savings. Let's face it, we've got too many 66 Chevys, and we gotta sell them. Big discounts on Caprice, Impalas, Chevy 2s, all models in every price range, with financing to fit your personal situation. Choose from more than 50 station wagons, as little as $489 down and $59.75 a month. And your present car will probably more than cover the down payment. Many more 66 Chevys for even less money. But make your move now.
Don't sign your name. It would be a shame until you see your Bumstead man.
Some months are better than others for new car buying, and this one is a real doozer at Bumstead of Troy. Unheard of discounts on the last 320 new 66 Chevys.
We're going now to the bottom half of the second inning, and Ken Boyer is coming up to lead off for the New York Mets. And before he does, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
And you're listening to WGY 810 on your radio dial and WGFM Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy here at Shea Stadium in New York. Mets and the Cubs in the concluding game of a 3-game set. Boyer is hitting .272. He has 9 home runs and 39 runs batted in. Bill Hans with the fastball low, and it is ball 1 now to Ken Boyer. Ed Brissou waiting in the on-deck circle. Breaking pitch, swung on and missed. So the count is now 1-1. This is a 1-1 delivery. Swung on and fouled out to the right side and out of play. Here's a swing on a foul ball coming back. Hundley gives it a run, but this one is in the seats and out of play, well back in the stand. Down holding 1 and 2 now to Ken Boyer. Looks into Randy Hundley to read the sign as the Cubs play Ken Boyer straight away. Here's a 1-2 delivery. Swung on it in the air to right field and deep, but moving back there now is Billy Williams. Near the edge of the warning track, he hauls it down for the out. Boyer flying out to right, 1 away, and Ed Brazil is coming up. Hitting .228 with 8 home runs and 34 runs batted in. Brazil swinging the bat as he waits. Here's a pitch hit on the ground to third. Sando short hops the ball, plays it across in time. For a brief moment, Sando was trying to decide whether he was going to rock back and play it on a big hop. Decided to short hop it and came up with it cleanly, played on. So there are 2 men out, and now it's going to be Jerry Grody. That catcher is hitting .230. He has 3 homers and 19 runs batted in. Mets do not yet have a base hit off Bill Hand. They had 2 base runners in the first inning, both as the result of walks issued by Hand. Swinging a ground ball at shortstop. It's scooped up by Kessinger. He throws on the run in time. Slow hit ground ball gave Kessinger plenty of time to get over and glove it and throw on the run. So, sides out in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, none allowed. Score at the end of 2 is the Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing. We'd like to remind you that you can meet your favorite Met player through the Met Fan Club. And you can get information and a list of the dates available by writing to Met Fan Club, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip code 11368. Or you can pick up that very same information at any regular Met ticket outlet if it's more convenient. Some of the future dates are August 5th, Bill Murphy. September 2nd, Hawk Taylor. September 6th, Chuck Hiller. September 9th, Jack Hamilton. September 27th, Cleon Jones. September 30th, Bob Shaw. And October 1st, Al Luplo. Be sure to take advantage of these dates as they will be the last one scheduled for this 1966 baseball season. For information on a list of those dates, once again, the address is Met Fan Club, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip code 11368. We're going now to the top half of the 3rd inning. Last night, at the Old Timers Dinner, Casey Stengel addressed the group. A rather lengthy address, as a matter of fact, and the subject for a good part of it was our Mr. Ralph Canna. I'm not exactly just sure what was said, but here's Ralph.
Okay, Lindsay, I'm not sure either. It's the top of the 3rd, a scoreless ball game, and Don Kessinger coming up for the Chicago Cubs. On the mound for the Mets, Bob Shaw. Bob has given up no runs, allowed 1 hit. The only hit of the ball game, it was by Byron Brown. And the first pitch is called a strike by Mel Steiner. It'll be Don Kessinger, Bill Hands, and then Adolfo Phillips against Shaw here in the 3rd. Don, a switch hitter now, batting at .239. He's been tough against the Mets. Mets flame shaded toward left field. And the pitch back to the plate is a curve, swung on and missed. It's now strike 2. Don came into this series with 5 for 14 against the Mets. He's had 7 base hits now and 18 times up against the Mets this year. The 2-strike pitch is a fastball outside. Bob missed him with a spotted fastball. It's now 1-2. Bob got by the first inning. It took an appeal play to do it. Adolfo Phillips was out for missing first base and a fly ball dropped by the left fielder, Larry Elliott. So no error charged and no base hit charged. Now at 1-2, the pitch back is an overhand curve. It swung on and missed, strike 3. And Bob came right off the top with a good breaking curveball to pick up his first strikeout. That'll bring up Bill Hand. Say, the Rheingold Chug-a-Mug is a wide-mouthed glass mug that holds 12 ounces of beer. And it even feels right when you pick it up. We're selling them in handy cartons of 6, and they're just about the handiest thirst quenchers in town.
Number 49.
Bill Hand, the right-hand batter, with an average of 0.32. He's been about 31 times and had 1 hit, and that was a 2-base hit. And he takes a breaking pitch outside, ball 1. The 1-base hit, going with 1 run batted in. Bill wearing number 49. And Shaw back with a fastball. It's over at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. No score in the ball game. Cubs have the only base hit. That came in the second. Cubs hit the ball hard in the second inning. All 4 batters got good wood in the ball, but only one of them got a base hit. Top ball down to third base. A 1-hopper for Ken Boyer. He throws low over to first base just above the dirt part of the infield, and the catch made by Eddie Cranepool for the second out. Now we'll bring up Adolfo Phillips. Adolfo 0 for 1 with a 266 average. He has 12 home runs this year and 25 runs batted in.
Phillips. Number 20.
In the National League at the end of 5, Philadelphia 1, Pittsburgh nothing. Jim Bunning pitching for the Phillies. And now they have added 3 more runs against the Pirates on a 3-run home run by Bill White, his 18th in the top of the 6th. So they lead by a score of 4-0, and they're still batting in the 6th. Vernon Law knocked out in the 6th inning, and Pete Mickelson is in the ballgame. First pitch to Adolfo Phillips. It is butted in the air. Jerry Gordy starts toward third and then finds the ball, and it's too late for him to come back as the ball was off to the right side back of home plate. Jerry trying to get out on the bunt attempt in a hurry and going out actually too soon for a ball that he didn't see in time. It'll go as a strike. Philadelphia playing a doubleheader at Pittsburgh, and the Pirates now, after losing yesterday to the Phillies, now behind again here today. At the end of 2, Houston 1, Cincinnati nothing. Dave Justy against Milt Pappas. The 1-strike pitch, the slider fouled back over the top of the radio booth. It's strike 2. That Houston-Cincinnati game also a scheduled doubleheader. The Dodgers scored in the first. They lead 1-0 after 1. Claude Osteen pitching for the Dodgers against Steve Carlson, who was just brought up from the minors. San Francisco scheduled against Atlanta. And it'll be Bob Boland pitching for the Giants against Dick Kelly. 2-strike pitch is high, and it's ball 1. In the American League, the Yankees nothing, the White Sox nothing after 1. Peterson against Harlan. That's a scheduled doubleheader. Detroit scheduled for 2 against Kansas City. At the end of 5.5, Boston 2, Washington nothing. Bennett against Humphrey. Canigliaro with a home run with a man on is 19. Baltimore scheduled against the Twins for a single game. Watt and Cott are the opposing pitchers. Next pitch is inside. Over the inside corner, a call, strike 3, and that retires the side. Second strikeout for Bob Shaw. He now has retired 4 in a row. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing.
What's new? Preview. This is Earl Pudney inviting you to join us every Saturday from 1:05 till 2 p.m. for Preview, a new concept in weekend radio. Preview will feature reviews and interviews on the new books. Preview will bring you the newest releases from the Broadway shows, the world of jazz, the folk singers, and the top swingers. When you listen to Preview, you'll hear about the current bestsellers. We'll be sure to keep you posted on the publishers, the prices, and keep you informed. What kind of books? We'll talk about books on medicine, science, African adventure, spacecraft and missiles, the bestsellers. In other words, recommended reading for your summer vacation. And we'll be talking to artists and authors, explorers and people close to the political scene. And everything will be new from the world of music. So join me every Saturday afternoon, 1:05 till 2, for the newest in weekend radio. Preview on WGY.
It'll be Bob Shaw to lead off for the Mets here in the bottom half of the third of a scoreless ball game. Bob batting for the first time in the ball game. He has an average of 194, 6 hits and 31 times up. Bob will be followed by Chuck Hiller and then Al Lupwald. On the mound for the Cubs, Bill Hand. Bill, the right-hand pitcher. Shaw being played straight away by the Chicago outfield, and the first pitch is in for a called strike. And the next pitch hit hard down by Ernie Banks in the right field area. Going on through, picked up by Billy Williams, and Shaw stays at first base. Hard smash that didn't come up. Ernie Banks couldn't get the glove down in time. The ball skidded on by him, and it would be scored a base hit. So the Mets have their first base hit. Anna Copper's at the mound as Randy Huntley goes out to talk with Bill Hands, and Bob Shaw gets a light warm-up jacket. The batter coming up for the Mets, Chuck Hiller, who walked his first time up. Chuck with his walk keeping his average at 324. He has 1 home run and 8 runs batted in. Chuck, a left-hand batter. And now Huntley back to give the signs out to Bill Hands from behind home plate. No score in the ball game. Both sides with a base hit now. No one out, bottom half of the third. Final game of this 3-game series. First pitch is grounded out slowly towards second base. Bob Shaw goes on by the second baseman, so the second baseman, Glenn Beckert, has to throw to the shortstop, Don Kessinger, at second base for the fourth play there. If he had been able to tag Bob Shaw, he might have had a double play, but Bob hustled on by him, and he had to make the throw to second base, and that took up the time. So Chuck Hiller on at first base in place of Bob, and the batter coming up is Al Luplow. Al flied out to left field his first time up. He's batting .241 with 3 home runs and 19 runs batted in. Al, a left-hand batter. Hiller with a short lead at first base. Hands to the plate, and the pitch is popped up in the air. Third baseman coming down to look as Randy Huntley, back of home plate, makes the catch. And the Cubs get their second out here in the bottom half of the third. And the Mets now will have Eddie Kranepool coming up. Eddie was called out on strikes his first time up. Took a fastball through and is averaged at .243. Club leader in home runs with 10. He has 38 runs batted in, 1 behind Ken Boyer, who leads the club. Eddie has had a long, hard pull here of late, and this month he has hit well to get his average from under 200 to .243. July has been quite a month for the Mets. They have established a new mark for games won in 1 month, going over the 500 mark for the first time in a full month. First pitch to Kranepool is down low, and it's ball 1. Mets have a 17-14 record in July. That's a lot of ball games. With this one included, it'll be 32 for the month, and there was also an All-Star break in there at 3 days. Mets have been at 500 one other time. They won 2 and lost 2 in October one time. The pitch back to Kranepool is low again, and it's ball 2. Ball dug out of the dirt by Randy Huntley. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Good month for Dennis Ryman, who was the winning pitcher last night. He won 4 or 5 decisions in July and now has won 5 of his last 6 decisions, 3 in a row. Throw to first base, just a calling card throw. Chuck Hiller there, and he's had a short lead. 2 men out, bottom half of the third, no score. Pitch back to Kranepool, in for a called strike. Bill Hands coming back with a slider and picking up his first strike, and the count now at 2 balls and 1. Wind blowing in for a change from left field on an extremely pleasant day. Now Bill Hands sets again, and his pitch to the plate is hit down toward Ernie Banks. He backhands it as he comes off the bag. He has to throw for the pitcher covering at first base to retire the side. No runs, the Mets get their first hit. There were no errors, 1 man left on base, and the score through 3. The Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Rheingold.
Don't know the reason. I can't tell you why. More people like Rheingold, the beer extra dry. be blue, darling. Yes, we must be doing something right. We must be
It's the top of the fourth inning. The Mets and Cubs in a scoreless ball game. And for the Cubs, the leadoff batter will be Glenn Beckert, the second baseman. On the mound for the Mets, Bob Shaw. Bob has a 7-5 record since coming to the Mets from San Francisco back on June the 10th. He has defeated the Cubs in a complete game. That was on June 25th at Chicago, winning 9-3. His first pitch is a curveball called a strike. A knee-high curve over the outside corner. It's strike one. 11 starts as a Met. Bob has been scored on in the first inning 8 times. And here in today's game, he has got by the first in his 12th start. And the right-hander with a one-strike pitch. Again, the curve, and this one is just outside. Jerry Grody thought it was on the corner. So did Bob Shaw. 1 ball, 1 strike count. In tomorrow's game against the Giants, it's going to be Bob Friend, who was also acquired during the middle of the season. Bob from the Yankees, Bob Friend. He has a record of 4-1 for the Mets. Now the 1-1 pitch hits deep to center field. A line shot. Right there is Cleon Jones, and he makes the catch. Glenn Beckert lining out to center field. He is now 0 for 2 in the ball game. Came in with a .274 average, and that brings up Billy Williams. Mets will play the Giants a 4-game series, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. Then the Cardinals come in to close out the homestand with a 4-game series starting on Friday night, a single game on Saturday, and a doubleheader on Sunday. Cardinals, the hottest team in baseball right now. They're in 4th place, 6 games back. They have won 12 of their last 13, and 6 in a row. First pitch to Billy Williams, grounded down in the dirt. It's strike one. Billy grounded out to shortstop his first time up. His average an even 300, 20 home runs, and 58 runs batted in. Billy, one of the super hitters in the National League. Left-hand batter played a shade toward right field by the Mets. 1 strike pitch by Shaw, changeup that's in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. At the end of 1, the Dodgers lead the Cardinals 1-0. Todd Osteen pitching for the Dodgers. Steve Carlton pitching for the Cardinals. 1-1 delivery, fouled back in the screen. So the count moves along to 1-2. The end of 6, Philadelphia 6, Pittsburgh 0. Giants and Atlanta have yet to get underway. At the end of 2, Houston 1, Cincinnati 0. Right here, a scoreless ball game. Now a swing and a foul again back in the screen. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 man away in the top of the 4th. In the American League, at the end of 2, the Yankees 1, the White Sox 0. At the end of 5, Boston 2, Washington 0. At the end of 1, Baltimore 0, Minnesota 0. Also on the schedule, Detroit at Kansas City and Cleveland at California. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bob Shaw again back to Billy Williams. And again a changeup, and it's grounded hard down to first base. Taken by Cranepool. He now throws to Bob Shaw as he comes over to make the play. And the Mets get their second out. That'll bring up Ron Santo, who hit his first pitch to deep right field his first time up. Ron batting .308. He leads the club. And he has 23 home runs to lead the club and also 56 runs batted in. That's 2 behind Billy Williams, who leads the club in that department. On a right-hand batter. He's still wearing a glove in his right hand and also has his right wrist and hand bandaged. And he has a protective helmet to cover the fractured cheekbone on the left side of his face. Bob into the double pump, and now a triple pump, and to the plate. And he tries the slider that's outside, ball one. One ball, no strike. 2 men out, top of the fourth, no score. And Shaw now back again, and a slow curve, analyzing slow curve, outside, ball two. Leon Jones in center field, a deep center field, just a shade toward the left side. And the next pitch is a good slider over at the knees, over the outside part of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike. Larry Elliott, who plays a deep outfield against just about everyone, is deep in left field straight away, and Al Lupo deep in right. Sano has a great swing and has good power. 2-1 pitch, a sidearm fastball that's swung on and fouled down in the dirt. Ball bouncing off the hands of one of the fans in the front row boxes. The count now even out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good crowd in hand here today after the great crowd last night. The Mets drew 50,306 last night. And their total attendance for 43 dates, 1,151,808. Now at 2-2, the pitch to the plate is inside, and Ron Santo has to move away. A fastball just about got him. That fills it out at 3-2. St. Louis Cardinals went over the million mark last night. They have now become the 4th club in the National League to draw over 1 million people this year. 3-2 pitch, grounded out toward the third base side foul. So Santo keeps the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Dodgers were the first, the Astros were the second club, the Mets were the third club, and now the Cardinals, the 4th club to go over 1 million fans at home in paid attendance. Won't be long that Atlanta will join in. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the count again on the pitch hit down the right field line will remain at 3-2 on a foul ball. Bob Shaw tried to get a fastball by and almost did as Ron Santo was behind the pitch. But he managed to foul it off, and the count remains at 3-2. Bob has struck out 2, both on curveballs. He has given up 1 hit. It's a scoreless ball game. Now the 3-2 pitch again, and this one is inside, ball 4. And Bob has walked his first man. That will bring up Ernie Banks. Ernie with a home run last night to run his total up to 6. He has 42 runs batted in. He's batting .268. He, too, has raised his average from a very poor start to a more respectable .268. Ernie flied out to right field in this ball game in his first time up. And he swings and foul tips. The first pitch is strike 1. Santo is not being held on at first base. Eddie Kranepool playing behind him about 3 steps. 2 men out, top of the 4th, no score. Next pitch is grounded foul. This one on top of the dugout, and it's skidded into the stands and then bounced back out. And Pete Reeser picks it up in the third base coaching box. First base coach is Whitey Lockman. Pete was managing at Dallas-Fort Worth during the early part of this year. He actually was in Japan at the very beginning of the year and went over there and didn't like the way they paid him off. got paid in yen, and he didn't like that too well because it was a lot less than they had contracted for. Next pitch is swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. Now remains at 2 strikes. Pete said the difference amounted to something like $8,000, and that's a pretty good difference. So he packed his bags and returned home. What a ball player he was. I don't believe anybody ever got a better start in baseball than Pete Reiser. He had it all. Now 2 strikes, a sidearm fastball, grounded back to the mound. Taking him 1 hop by Bob Shaw. Throw to first base, retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 walk, and a man left on. And the score through 3.5 innings, the Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing.
Hello there. This is Leon Kelly. That familiar theme introduces Kelly's Corner, a weekday fair that begins at 6:15. Along with fine dinner music and rare stories of the odd, strange, and curious, we have special features. When it comes to racing, we have just about all the bases covered. It begins at 6:15 with Track Talk with Tuff, behind-the-scenes views of the trotters, paces, and the thoroughbreds. Mondays and Thursdays at 7:05, Bill Carpenter covers the stock car racing results from 14 tracks.
This is NBC News.
At 7, a summary of the news from NBC.
This is Morgan Beatty bringing you NBC's News of the World.
Kelly's Corner keeps you further informed at 7:30 when Morgan Beatty reports the news with on-the-scenes accounts of events from where it happens. Yes, you'll find it interesting, informative, and entertaining in Kelly's Corner, weekdays 6:15 until 8 on WGY Schenectady.
Fourth of a scoreless ball game. The Mets against the Cubs in the final game of their 3-game series. Tomorrow the Mets take on the Giants in a 4-game series. They'll be playing Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. In that game tomorrow, it's going to be Bob Friend for the Mets. He has won 4 and lost 1, and Joe Gibbon will be pitching for the Giants. Giants lost a doubleheader yesterday, and they have a single game at Atlanta today. First pitch to Larry Elliott is popped up into shallow left field. Coming in is Byron Brown. He's having some trouble with the sun, but he shades it out of the way, and with his glasses down, he makes the catch. So Larry, who had walked on the 3-1 pitch his first time out, is now out for the first time officially, and it brings up Cleon Jones. Mets have had only 1 hit. That was by Bob Shaw. It came in the 3rd. This game, a scoreless ball game. Now the batter is Cleon Jones, who hit a soft line drive to second base with runners at first and second his first time up. Both men had reached on a walk. Jones brought a 5-game hitting streak into this ball game, and his average is at .280. 5 home runs and 36 runs batted in. He's been tough against the Chicago Cubs this year. And Bill Hands with his second pitch of the inning. It's in for a called strike, and Cleon Jones on the pitch, decoying a bunt. Cleon has won 2 games against the Cubs with home runs. They were both off of Ken Holtzman. Now he hits one hard down in the hole at shortstop. Picked up by Don Kettinger. The throw over to first base is in time for the out. Cleon out by about 3 steps. Ball was fielded very quickly and cleanly by Don Kettinger. And we'll pause now for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
810 on your radio dial. This is WGY in Schenectady. The time is 1 minute before 3 o'clock.
Ralph Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from Shea Stadium. No score in the ball game. 2 men away in the bottom half of the 4th. And the Mets now have Ken Boyer coming up. Ken flied out to deep right field his first time up, and he brought a 5-game streak into this ball game. And he pops the first pitch foul. Back out of play, it's strike 1. Boyer's had 8 of his 39 runs batted in against the Cubs. And he hits the next pitch fouled on the left field side out of play. It's strike 2. Top hitters against the Cubs so far this year: Ken Boyer, Cleon Jones, and Eddie Kranepool. Cranepool has driven in 10 runs against the Cubs. That leads the club in that department. Eddie with a total of 38 runs batted in this year. Leon Jones has had 15 hits in 47 times up against the Cubs. Next pitch is called a ball. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 on Ken Boyer. Ken with an average of 271, and he fouls the next pitch down in the dirt. Count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ball rolled over toward the box seat, rolling right against the ground, and then as everyone tried to reach out to get it, it hit a portion of the retaining wall and bounced straight up in the air and went right through the hands of a couple of boys. But they figured out a way to get it, and that was what the hand was for, as they reached down and picked it off the ground. Slider by Bill Hams is outside, and the count at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck batter, Eddie Basu. 2 men away, bottom half of the 4th, no score. And Bill Hands back again. The pitch is hit high in the air to shallow center field. Coasting in the center fielder, Aldolfo Phillips. And he makes the catch, and that retires the side. So Bill Hands has retired his last 6 batters after giving up his only base hit to Bob Shaw in the 3rd. And the score through 4, the Mets nothing, the Cubs nothing. Now, once again, here's Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Ralph, tomorrow night the San Francisco Giants will be in here with Willie Mays and Juan Marichal and Willie McGovey and Gaylord Perry and Jim Ray Hart. And they will open up a 4-game set against the New York Mets. It'll be left-handed Joe Gibbons starting for the Giants tomorrow night. And for the Mets, Bob Prince. There are plenty of good box and reserve seat tickets available for all 4 of those games, and they are now on sale. Then the St. Louis Cardinals come in on Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader on Sunday. Cardinals have been riding high of late. They have won 6 straight games, and right now they're only 6 games out of first place as the acquisition of Orlando Cepeda and Al Jackson gave the St. Louis Cardinals a lift that they needed. Jackson has won 11 games for them now. So those 2 clubs will be coming in here during the remainder of this homestand at Shea Stadium. 4 inning totals for the Cubs, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. For the Mets, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Byron Brown is up to lead off. He got the base hit off Shaw. Brown single up the middle in the 2nd inning. Breaking pitches in there for a called strike. Randy Hundley has moved out to the on-deck position now as Bob Shaw winds and fires. A breaking pitch swung on and missed. It's strike 2. Very comfortable, sunny afternoon here at Shea Stadium in New York. The last day of July, a very successful month for the New York Mets. Here's a pitch, missing outside. It's 1-2. Manager Wes Westrom at the start of the year set his sights ambitiously on 70 victories for this season. So far, the Mets have won 46. This will be a 1-2 pitch. And it's in there for a called strike 3. 3rd strikeout to Shaw. Catches Byron Brown looking 1 away, and Randy Hundley is the batter. He's been up 1 time, and he lined out to center field. There's no other theater quite like the Jones Beach Marine Theater, and Guy Lombardo's new musical spectacular, Mardi Gras, is the best ever. It's great for fundraising and theater parties, so why don't you and your friends go on out to the Jones Beach Theater? Swinging a ground ball to second, taken there by Hiller and played on to Cranepool. 2 away. Bob Shaw, trying to get over to field the ground ball, stretched himself out in the dirt of the mound there. 2 away, and Don Kessinger's the batter. Switch hitter batting left, and up 1 time struck out. Dodgers have scored a run at St. Louis in the top of the third on a Dick Stewart home run. So it's now the Dodgers 2 and the Cardinals 2 going to the bottom of the third. Claude Osteen against Steve Carlson. Kessinger's in and waiting. Bob Shaw pumps and pitches. And it's low for a ball. Kessinger bats number 8 in manager Leo DeRocha's Chicago Cub batting order. The Mets shade their defense slightly toward left, playing Kessinger to punch the ball to the opposite field. That pitch is low for a ball. 2-0 now to the Cubs shortstop. Delivery. Swung on and hit on the ground towards second. Hiller's over. Bobbles at a moment. Throws on, but not in time and on by Cranepool. Kessinger turns. Both Grody and Cranepool go for the bag, and Kessinger goes back to first. An error on Chuck Hiller. Ball sort of ran up his arm, and he couldn't find the handle. Then when he threw it, went on by Cranepool. Charged Hiller with an error. With 2 men out. The Cubs get a base runner, and Bill Hands, the pitcher's up. Been up one time, grounded out third to first. Cranepool playing behind the runner at first. Bob Shaw off the stretch with the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 1. Bill Hands has done up this year 32 times. He's had 1 hit. It was a double. Alfo Phillips waiting on deck. Kessinger taking his lead at first. The strike 1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on it. Missed it. Strike 2. Bob Shaw, since coming to the Mets and the Giants, has won 7 games and lost 5. Overall now for the year with the Giants and Mets, he has won 8 games and lost 9. This will be a 2-strike delivery. Sidearm breaking pitch in there for a called strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Bob Shaw. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. The score at the end of 4.5 innings. Cubs nothing, Mets nothing. Sometimes things roll easy and sometimes they don't roll at all. Either way, here's a song with a message for you.
Roll on a button. Roll on in. How can I roll when the wheels don't go? This old hammer kill the John Henry. It won't get me. No, it won't get me.
And in New York City, more people roll on easy with Rheingold Extra Dry than with any other beer. Maybe they like our natural carbonation, but whatever it is, we must be doing something right.
Roll on, buddy. Roll on easy. Now how can I roll when the wheels don't go?
We're going to the bottom half of the 5th inning now, and it'll be Ed Bersu coming up. He's been up one time, and he grounded out third to first. Bill Hands has allowed only 1 base hit. It was a ground ball hit by Bob Shaw down toward first and took a bad hop on Ernie Banks and went on by him, was scored as a base hit, and that's the only base hit the Mets have in this game. Hands has struck out 1 and he's walked 2. He issued 2 walks in the first inning. Now he turns to get a sign from Hundley to work for the right-hand batter. And the pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. That's the schedule to send up Bersu, Grody, and Shaw here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. A A game that is scoreless to this point. The fans are coming to life here now, trying to get something started on behalf of the Mets. Here's a pitch outside. 1-1 to count. Vertu just outside the batter's box, now moves back in. Offering. Misses low and away. So now Hans goes behind 2-1. Defensively, the Cubs are playing Vertu straight away. Wes Westrom calls Jerry Grote back over to say something again. Here's a swing and a miss. 2-2 to Vertu. Grote's on deck, and Westrom is talking to him on the steps of the Met dugout. Grote comes back out to the on-deck circle. Here's a 2-2 pitch to Vertu. Low and away. So the count runs out full now at 3-2. This is a payoff pitch. It's low, and Vertu draws a walk. A leadoff walk here in the fifth inning. The third base on balls issued by Bill Hand. Gives the Mets a base runner and brings up Grote. Set up one time and grounded out short to first. Hand's doing a little calisthenics out there on the mound before getting ready to work to the right-hand batter. Ernie Banks holds against the runner at first base. Vertu takes his lead there. The pitch, and it is high as Grote ran the hand down the bat in the bunting position and asked that umpire Mel Steiner examine the ball. He does, and he throws it out. Apparently, Grote thought he saw a dark spot or some disfiguration out the ball. He looks down out of the sign man. Whitey Herzog gets stirred. He's running through the side front. Apparently the sacrifice was on in the first pitch, and now the Cubs call time with shortstop Don Kessinger coming over to have a word with Bill Hand. Santos even with the edge of the grass at third in anticipation of a possible bunt attempt. No score in the game in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Vertu leads, Hand pitches. Grote bunts the ball foul up the first base line and out of play. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Ernie Banks was charging in from his post at first. Glenn Beckett was coming over from second to cover the bag. Kessinger had taken the bag at second. Pitcher Bill Hand was coming off to field a possible bunt. Here's a pitch, and it is bunted on and fouled off. Strike 2. Right down into the dirt. So it's 1-2 now to Grote. Pitcher Bob Shaw is on deck. Let's see if Westrom has Grote bunting all the way, or if he allows him to swing away now with a count of 1-2. The bugaboo for a manager or anybody else in a circumstance like this is the possibility of the double play. 1-2 pitch. And it misses low and away. He was not bunting. He was ready to swing away. It's 2-2. Ed Vertu bluffs the start on the pitch. Now, if you switch off and play hit and run on a 2-2 pitch, of course, the bugaboo is the strikeout double play. Vertu takes his lead. He bluffs the start. A swing and a miss. And a strikeout is credited to Hand, his second. 1 away, Vertu holding it first. Bob Shaw coming up. Shaw's been up one time and had a base hit. He's getting a hand here. Shaw was born in the Bronx and grew up in Garden City, Long Island. His father was a prominent New York high school coach. Now Shaw bunts the ball up into the air, and it's taken by the pitcher, Bill Hands. Pursue is back safely, covering up in case there is a throw from behind his back there. Shaw was going to try to pop that ball over the head of Ernie Banks charging in, and instead he popped it up so that it could be played by either Banks or pitcher Bill Hands. Hands took it, so there are 2 men out, and Chuck Hiller's about it. Hiller's nothing for 1 and a walk, left-hand batter. Hitting .322 for the season. The Cubs have 1 hit. The Mets have 1 hit. There's a pitch swung on line into left center field. That's the base hit. Pursue is on his way to third. It's taken out there in center and bobbed over by Adolfo Phillips. Pursue is coming home. And Santo gets the ball to relay. He is safe at the plate. Pursue scores underneath the tag of Randy Hundley as Ron Santo took the ball in the center of the diamond and fired it on to Randy Hundley, but not in time to get Pursue, who got a green light from Coach Whitey Herzog at third and has scored the first run of the ball game. It is scored as a double and a run batted in for Chuck Hiller. It was an in-betweener, left center. Adolfo Phillips got over to cut it off, but bobbled it on the first grab. Had to go for it the second time. Then when he played it in, it was cut off by Santo and played to Hundley. And he is getting attention from the trainer at the moment to see if he has sustained any sort of an injury as Pursue came sliding in at the plate. So the Mets are out in front here in the bottom half of the 5th inning by a score of 1-0. They have Chuck Hiller at second and Al Luplow at the plate. Luplow has slid to left and fouled out to the catcher so far. Pitch to the left-hand batter, swung on and missed. Luplow was trying to check it, but he took it around 4-0, strike 1. Greenville moves out on deck. Base on balls and a double has produced a Met run here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Only 2 hits off Hands in the ball game, but the Cubs have only 1 off Shaw. Now the pitch in is low for a ball, 1-1. Chuck Hiller takes his lead at second. Hands off the stretch with a 1-1 delivery. Swung on and on the ground to first, and it's off the glove of Ernie Banks. He scrambles for it, plays the Hands in time. Luplow grounds out, first base to the pitcher covering. It was off the glove of Ernie Banks as he moved over toward the line, but he scrambled after it, recovered, and played it then to the pitcher Bill Hands covering to get Luplow. But the Mets got a run on a walk and a hit, no errors and 1 left. Score at the end of 5 is the Mets 1 and the Cubs nothing. As you know, the official Met yearbook is revised from time to time during the course of the season so that it may be brought up to date. And the second revised edition is now available. It's available here at the concession stand at Shea Stadium or at any regular Met ticket outlet. And you can also get the yearbook by mail if you'd like to get it that way. Send 65 cents. The Met yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Zip code 11368. The revised edition contains information on Bob Shaw, who's pitching today, Bob's friend, Jerry Arrigo. You can check on the entire professional career of any of the New York Mets, and in addition, there are loads of pictures and feature articles So if you'd like a copy by mail, send 65 cents. That's 50 cents for the yearbook and 15 cents for handling. The Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip code 11368. Here in the top half of the sixth inning, it's going to be top of the batting order, Adolfo Phillips up to lead off for the Cubs. He is a right-hand batter. Right-hand pitcher Bob Shaw started, has been in all the way in this game for the Mets. First pitch is swung on and hit in the air to short left. It's going to be a long run for Elliott. Bersue's going out, and Bersue makes the catch. Shortstop, Ed Bersue, going into left field and over near the line to haul that one down. Doubtful that Elliott would have been able to make the catch. Slim Becker coming up, grounded out and lined out to center. Going to the bottom half of the eighth inning, the Phillies are leading the Pirates 7-0. Jim Bunny against Vernon Law, Mickelson in the sixth, Cardwell in the seventh. Bill White had his 18th home of the season in the sixth inning with 2 men on. Pirates starting today on top of the National League by a game and a half. Here's a fly ball to the right. Luplow moves over. He makes the catch. So Beckert flies to right, and that brings up Billy Williams, 0 for 2. They're playing a doubleheader, by the way, in Pittsburgh today. The end of 5 innings, the Houston Astros 2, the Cincinnati Reds 0. Dave Justy against Milt Pappas. That's the first of 2 also. The end of 4 innings now, the Cardinals have gone back ahead of the Dodgers 3-2. Osteen against Carlton. Dick Stewart had a Dodger homer in the third with nobody on. The end of 2 innings, the Giants 0, the Atlanta Braves 0. Bob Bolin against Dick Kelly. Right here, the Cubs are batting in the top of the sixth. 2 men out, nobody on base. Bob Shaw's pitch to Billy Williams. Bounces in the dirt and on by for a ball. A doubleheader at Sox Park in Chicago. The first game has gone through 4 innings. The Yankees 1, the White Sox 0. Fritz Peterson against Joel Horlett. He scored at Kansas City in a doubleheader. Latest start. Boston at Washington going to the bottom half of the eighth inning. The Red Sox 5, the Senators 2. Dennis Bennett relieved by Don McMahon in the sixth. Jim Hannon started. Bob Humphreys, Dick Lyons, Ronnie Klein, Tony Conigliaro, and Frank Howard have had home runs. Pitch to Williams is high and away. And at the end of 3.5, the league-leading Baltimore Orioles won the Minnesota Twins 0. Eddie Watt against Jim Cox. Cleveland at California against the Angels in a latest start. Right here, the Mets are leading the Cubs by a score of 1-0. We're in the top half of the sixth inning. Bob Shaw pumps and pitches to the left-hand batter. Breaking pitch just inside, and it's 3-0 now to Billy Williams. Shaw has struck out 4 and walked 1 in this game. He issued a base on balls to Ron Santo in the 4th inning. This is a 3-0 offering. Outside, and Williams draws the base on ball. So the Cubs pick up a base runner here in the top of the sixth with 2 away, and Ron Santos now the batter. He is 0 for 1 in the walk. He flied out to right field in the second inning. Eddie Kranepool comes over to hold against the runner, Billy Williams. He has excellent speed. Pitch to Santo is high for a ball, and Shaw has his hands on his hips, thinking he'd get a call on that one. And he is still having a word to say. The umpire Mel Steiner behind the plate. Two men out. With the Cubs batting in the top half of the sixth. Williams leads at first. The 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Ernie Banks is waiting on deck. Bob Shaw up and set. Delivers 1-1. Misses low and away, and he goes behind now to Santo. 2 balls and 1 strike. Shaw goes over to the Rosenbach. Looks in for the sign from catcher Jerry Grody. Has it now. Williams leads at first. 2-1 pitch sidearm, and it's in there for a call. Strike 2. 2-2 the count. Ron Santo. Shaw again reads the sign. Santo swings the bat as he waits. Shaw isn't sure. He looks in now. Read the sign again. This will be a 2-2 delivery. Sidearm and swung on. Land into center field. Cleon Jones coming on. Can't get it. He one-hops it. On the way to third is Billy Williams. No play on him. He pulls up safely. Santos on at first with a line single into center field. And the Cubs now have runners at first and third with 2 men out. And Ernie Banks coming up. He is lined to right and grounded out pitcher to first. Banks, a right-hand hitter. A veteran Major League performer who won the Most Valuable Player Award in the National League in consecutive seasons. Now the pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Mets are leading 1-0, but the Cubs are threatening here in the top of the 6th. With 2 men out, they have runners first and third. Santo at first, Williams at third. Byron Brown has moved out on deck. Strike 1 pitch now to Banks, misses low and away. The count is 1-1. Shaw going into the Rosenbach. Toes the rubber, looks in. Byron Brown has moved out on deck. Strike 1 pitch now to Banks, misses low and away. The count is 1-1. Shaw going into the Rosenbach. Toes the rubber, looks in. He's up and set. Runners lead first and third on the 1-1 pitch. Swung on it on the ground towards second. Hiller gets a big hop. Plays the crane, pulling the side is out. Cubs get no runs. They had a hit and a walk, no errors, and 2 left. And the score at the end of 5.5 is the Mets 1, the Cubs nothing.
This is WGY News. This is the sound that means news. Up to the minute, concise, and complete. From the facilities of NBC, Associated Press, United Press International, the United States Weather Bureau, a staff of stringers throughout a 26-county area, and a newsroom staff of experienced news people, WGY keeps you informed of the latest happenings. More than 20 times a day in regularly scheduled newscasts from 6 in the morning to midnight, WGY brings you the latest news from around the world, around the area, and across the street. And when something newsworthy happens, you get it in bulletin form when it happens. All this, plus specialized programs on farm news, sports, weather, and business, make WGY's news department your best information center for what's going on in the world today.
coming up to lead off for the Mets in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Left-hand batter facing right-hand pitcher Bill Hand. Swung on it in the air to center field. Adolfo Phillips hangs there and now retreats. He's there and makes the catch and gets out of the way of the ball. He lost it in the sun, and Kranepool's rounding second. On his way to third, and he pulls up safely there. Just as he was ready to haul it in and making the catch, Adolfo Phillips ducked out of the way. He lost it in the sun. It is a triple for Ed Kranepool, as Phillips lost the ball in the sun, ducked out of the way, and the Mets have a runner at third on the three-base hit. So it is now Larry Elliott coming up with a runner at third base and nobody out, and the Cubs have to play it infield in. It appeared to be a routine catch for Phillips. First, he stayed right where he was, then retreated about a half dozen steps and stopped, appeared ready to gather the ball in, and at the last possible second, ducked out of the way. Now the pitch to Elliott. Swung on, hit on the ground to the right side. Banks looks the runner, holds, and tags Elliott out on the base path. No advance by Kranepool at third base. So on the ball, top down towards first, Elliott is out. Leon Jones is the batter. One away. Leon has lined out to second and grounded out short to first so far. Brought a 5-game hitting streak into this afternoon's game. Infield still in for the Chicago Cubs here in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Jones stepping himself into the batter's box. Mets are hopeful of getting at least a sacrifice fly to get Kranepool in from third base. Mets are leading 1-0 in the game. Bill Hand with a pitch that's high and tight. It's ball one. Ken Boyer is waiting on deck. Bill Hand waiting until Hundley gets into position behind the plate. Now reads the sign, throws the rubber, works straight away, a 1-0 pitch, and it's low and away. 2 balls and no strikes now to Cleon Jones. Eddie Kranepool at third with 1 man out. Time called, and umpire Mel Steiner is going to examine the ball. He takes that one out of play. Hundley walks the ball halfway to the mound and then fires it on out to Bill Hand. He started. He's been in all the way. Now Hand reads the sign of Randy Hundley. And the pitch. Swung on it on the ground up the middle. It is going through for a base hit. Kranepool comes on to score. Leon Jones is on at first with a ground single up the middle on the drawn-in infield. Kessinger moved to his left to try to field it, couldn't get to it. The Mets lead 2-0. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is WGY 810 on your dial in Schenectady, your station for all the Mets games. The time is 3:32.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner here at Shea Stadium in New York. Leon Jones with a base hit and a run batted in keeps his consecutive game hitting streak alive at 6 straight games. Boyer's nothing for 2. He brought a 5-game hitting streak into this contest as well. Banks holds against the runner at first. There's 1 man out for the Mets. Jones is running, hit and run. Loop to right field. A long run for Billy Williams, but he'll get there with his speed. He makes the catch. Hustling back to first is Leon Jones. That's played hit and run, and Boyer pops out to Billy Williams in short right. Now Ed Bersu is the batter. Rounded out, walked, and later scored the first run of the game, sliding in underneath the tag of Randy Hundley in the 5th inning. 2 away with Jones at first. Leon Jones takes his lead at first. And the pitch is high for a ball. Pursue again looking down to Whitey Herzog at third to see if there's anything on here. 2 men out. Mets have 2 runs on 4 hits. The Cubs have no runs. They have 2 hits. One 1-0 pitch, and it's outside. 2-0. Leon Jones bluffing a start at first base on the pitch. Again off the stretch, Bill Hand. And the runner goes. Here's a pitch in for a strike. Throw to second, and Cleon steals it. Throw is high, and it is Cleon Jones with a stolen base. His first steal since June 7th. Jones now with 9 stolen bases. This is a 2-1 pitch now to Ed Pursue with 2 men out. He watches low, and Bill Hand goes behind. 3 balls and 1 strike. Runner leads at second. 3-1 pitch to Pursue, and it is low, ball 4. He draws a walk. Second walk he's drawn today. Hans has walked a total of 4. Jerry Grote's coming up. Runners at first and second. He is grounded out and struck out. Tried to sacrifice on 2 pitches last time up and then struck out. There is no action in the Cub bullpen, with the Mets leading 2-0 here in the bottom half of the 6th. Runners at first and second. Now the pitch to the right-hand batter. In there for a called strike. Bob Shaw has moved out to the on-deck circle. Leon Jones is at second, and Ed Pursue is at first for the New York Mets. Again, Bill Hand reads the sign, checks the runners, and delivers a strike 1 pitch that is low for a ball. It's 1-1. Tomorrow night, the San Francisco Giants will be here. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon for the Giants. Now 1-1 offering. It's high for a ball. 2-1. Cubs have swung the defense around toward left, playing Grote to pull. Hands is up and set. 2-1 delivery with the runner going, and there's a swing and a miss to throw to second, and nobody covering there. It's a double steal. As Cleon Jones got a good jump, was off and winging, and then Ed Pursue took off. Hundley decided to try for Pursue, but second baseman Glenn Beckert was still several steps from the bag, and so it is a double steal. Second stolen base for Pursue, the 10th, of course, for Cleon Jones. Now first base is open, and Pursue's going to be intentionally walked. Or rather, Grote's going to be intentionally walked. Grote goes down to first with an intentional pass to get to Bob Shaw, the pitcher, who comes up now with the bases loaded. 5 walks issued by Bill Hand, one of them intentionally. The hand is for Bob Shaw, who got the first Met hit in the bottom of the third, a ground ball off the glove of Ernie Banks at first. Shaw tried to sacrifice in the fifth and popped up to the pitcher. He tossed out and backs out until a plane gets by. Time called because of aircraft. Must be intending to hit it a long way. Now the pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. The bases are loaded with 2 men out, and the Mets are leading by a score of 2-0. Bill Hand's working straight away. That pitch is high and away. 1-1. Cleon Jones is the runner at third. Ed Pursue is the runner at second, and Jerry Grody is the runner at first. Chuck Hiller has moved out to the on-deck position. Randy Hundley behind the plate goes under his crouch to flash the sign out to Bill Hand. Now Cleon Jones bluffs the start, and the pitch is in for a called strike. As Bob Shaw backed away, Cleon Jones came down about halfway, bluffing a steal of home. Shaw is backing away, and he is arguing the call with umpire Mel Steiner. Steiner indicating it was in the strike zone. Shaw didn't think it was. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Bob Shaw. It looked for all the world as though Cleon were coming till he slammed on the brakes down there about halfway. They're loaded up now. 2 men out in the count of 1-2. The pitch to Shaw. Swung on it on the ground towards second, and Kessinger steps on the bag for the out. Kessinger just took the ball in his gloved hand, stepping on the bag in the same motion for the force on Grody, 6 unassisted, and the side is out. But the Mets picked up a run on 2 hits. There were 2 walks, no errors, 3 stolen bases, and 3 left. And the score at the end of 6 full innings is the Mets 2 and the Cubs nothing.
Some months are better than others for new car buying, and this one is a real doozer at Bumstead of Troy. Unheard of discounts on the last 320 new 66 Chevys.
Yes, this is the month when we dealers worry, and you new car buyers reap the benefits in cash savings. Let's face it, we've got too many 66 Chevys, and we gotta sell them. Big discounts on Caprice, Impalas, Chevy 2s, all models in every price range, with financing to fit your personal situation. Choose from more than 50 station wagons, as little as $489 down and $59.75 a month. And your present car will probably more than cover the down payment. Many more 66 Chevys for even less money. But make your move now.
Don't sign your name, it would be a shame until you see your Bumstead man.
In the 7th inning, Byron Brown, the left fielder, leads off for Chicago against right-hander Bob Shaw. New York, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. Chicago, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. Byron Brown has singled at center and taken a call third strike. He has one of the 2 hits given up by Shaw. Off the outside corner, 1 ball and no strike. This is the rubber game of the 3-game series. Chicago won the opener Friday night. The Mets won last night. Foul ball back into the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike on Husky Byron Brown. Brown has good power. He's hit 13 home runs and knocked 39 runs in. The 1-1 delivery. Low outside on a curve, 2 balls and a strike. Last year, the middle of the Cub batting order, all 3 men, Billy Williams, Ron Santo, and Ernie Banks, drove in over 100 runs each. And it's on the outside corner for a strike, 2-2. This year, it again appears that Billy Williams and Ron Santo have a great chance to drive in at least 100. Ernie Banks would have to have a very strong finish to do it. Now the pitch on the way. Ground ball bounced toward the hole. It's short. Cut off by Boyer. The throw to first, and he got him. Kinney cutting over in front of Eddie Bersu to field that one on the edge of the carpet and toss out his man. 1 man away. Here's Randy Hundley, the catcher.
Number 9.
Say, now's a good time to light up a cool and taste the most refreshing coolness you can get. Cool Filter King. Newest member of the Cub mound staff has started to get ready. Randy Hundley looks it over, and it's under the knees. 1 ball and no strike. They have a real baseball head-scratcher on the message board in the form of today's baseball quiz. Do you know what ex-Met shares the National League record for most times hit by a pitcher in 1 inning? Outside and low, 2 balls with no strike. He used to stand right on top of the plate. Bob Shaw behind on Randy Hundley, 2 balls and no strikes. We're in the 7th inning. The Mets in front, 2-0. Now the wind-up, pitch to Hundley. A high foul ball, whacked back over toward the crowd and out of play. Wes Westrom has his pitching rotation all set for the Giants series. Bob Friend, 4-1 with the Mets, will open the series tomorrow night. Jerry Arrigo pitches Tuesday night, Jack Fisher Wednesday night, and Dennis Rybat on Thursday. Way inside the letters, now it's 3-1 on Randy Hundley. The single game at D.C. Stadium in Washington is over. The Red Sox defeating Washington 5-2 by scoring 3 in the 8th inning to break a deadlock. Don McMahon, the winner, in relief of Dennis Bennett. Foul ball twisting back upstairs, no play. Dick Lyons was the loser in relief. Jim Hannon had started. Home runs in the game by Tony Canigliaro of the Red Sox, his 19th. Big Frank Howard for Washington, his 12th of the year. Final, Boston 5, Washington 2. Here's the payoff delivery now on Randy Hundley. And it's a pop-up that might be playable, racing hard toward the dugout of Ken Boyer. And 31 hands it. Boy, he's amazing on those pop fouls. 1-hand catch by Jerry Grody. Boyer raced over there. Grody raced over. At the last moment, the ball would have landed on about the first step into the dugout. But Grody somehow lunged out and made a 1-hand catch. He is just about as good on those pop fouls as anybody you'll ever see. He has made some shocking plays, as Casey Stengel would say, around the dugouts of the National League. He pulled one off in St. Louis on the road not too long ago that was amazing. Don Kessinger is the hitter, and the pitch is over, strike 1 call. Final score in the first game at Pittsburgh. Jim Bunning scattering 11 hits as the Phillies beat the Pirates 8-1. Bunning winning his 11th game. Vern Law was the loser. Bill White put the game out of reach with a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. So the National League race is tightening up still more. Curveball hit on the ground down the first baseline, foul. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh last night, and they have taken the first game of a doubleheader today. That moves the Phillies at the moment within 6.5 games of first place. It means at the moment the Cardinals are 5.5 games out. 2-strike delivery, low inside, 1-2 on switch hitter Don Kessinger. Now Shaw nods in agreement with his battery mate, Jerry Grody. Pitching 1-2. A chopper off the plate, foul, coming right straight back, no play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mets 2, Cubs nothing, top of the 7th. Shaw winding, the 1-2 pitch. Fastball inside, moves him away from the plate. So the count is even on Don Kessinger at 2-2. Bill Hands, who has pitched a strong game in his own right, is the on-deck batter. However, as he kneels in the on-deck circle, left-hander Arnold Early is warming up in the bullpen. Pitching 2-2. Curve reached for a foul down the left field line and over into the crowd. The Mets scored their first run on a walk to Eddie Brosseau and a run-scoring double by Chuck Hiller. Now the 2-2 delivery. Ground ball hit slowly toward the middle. Brosseau can't run it down. It has eyes and goes through for a base hit to center field. Now let's see how the Cubs will play it. Bill Hands is now being called back to the dugout. That single to center by Kessinger, his 6th base hit of the series, is only the 3rd hit in the game off Shaw, and now George Altman is coming out to bat for Bill Hands. Arnold Early on call in the Chicago bullpen. This will be his first appearance with the Cubs. He had been working as a relief specialist with Tacoma and the Pacific Coast League, where he had won 3 and lost 3 and saved 5. Bill Hands pitched very well. He allowed 2 runs, 4 base hits. The second run scored by the Mets, they got a break when a fly ball hit by Kranepool to deep center was lost to the sun for a 3-base hit. On the outside corner, strike 1 call. Big George Altman, batting .226, left-hand hitter. Two men away, Don Kessinger on first base. Now the pitch on the way. It's hit foul up into the air and back over toward the crowd behind third. So now Shaw has a 2-strike count on George Altman. Big George, his first 3 years in the National League with the Cubs, was one of the top hitters in the circuit. He fouls it off. Count stays, strike 2.
Altman had 2 seasons with Chicago in which he hit over 300. Now Shaw eyes his runner. The pitch to Altman. Just missed the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We're going to get warm-up action now for the first time in the New York Mets bullpen. Today's game, a tight pitching duel between Bob Shaw and rookie right-hander Bill Hand. Game rocked along scoreless until the Mets got a run in the last of the 5th inning on a walk and a double by Hiller. Pitching 1-2. And the curve is low. It's 2-2. Kessinger, a very fast runner, is on first base with 2 men down. Two-two delivery. Ground ball bounced towards second. A big hop grab by Hiller. He throws to Brosseau, and they force Kessinger for the 3rd out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. 7th inning stretch time at the end of 6.5 innings. The New York Mets 2 and the Chicago Cubs nothing.
Tired of the same old routine? Tired of opening up the same brown bag or lunchbox and facing the same sandwiches? Then it's time to make the Neba break. Join the in crowd at your nearest Neba Sandwich Drive-In. Swing by and get one of those extra luscious Nebas. Neba sandwiches are made of slice after slice of tender, perfectly cooked top sirloin stacked in a toasted sesame roll. Top it off with your favorite beverage. Take the Neba break at your nearest Mike's Neba Sandwich Drive-In. Who's on top in the world of sports? You are, if you keep tuned to WGY 810 on your radio dial, on top of the latest sports news all the time. For all over sports results, tune in Sports Spotlight at 5:45 daily. WGY also brings you the complete schedule of the New York Mets, the World Series, collegiate football with Syracuse University, and pro football with the New York Giants. Get the most out of sports by listening to WGY.
In the pitch now for the Chicago Cubs, veteran southpaw Arnold Early. Arnold Early, 33-year-old left-hander, making his first appearance now for Chicago. Arnold was with the Red Sox the last year and a half. Cubs acquired Arnold Early, and he had been pitching for their Tacoma Farm Club in the Pacific Coast League. Chuck Hiller will be leading off against the Cubs southpaw as we go now to the last of the 7th inning. Bill Hands, in 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, just 4 hits. Walked 5 and struck out 2. Both runs scored by New York are classified as earned runs. However, the second run, that scored in the 6th inning, the Mets got a break, when Cranepool's fly ball to deep center was lost to the sun by Adolfo Phillips for a triple. Eddie then came in to score on the single through the middle by Cleon Jones with the infield drawn in. So now we are set to go in the last of the 7th inning with Arnold Early, left-hander, on in relief for Chicago. Leo DeRocher wanting Early in the game in this spot as the Mets have 4 straight left-hand hitters coming up. Fastball is high, ball 1. Now the pitch to Hiller. He goes after it and fouls it off. Back into the crowd. 1 ball, 1 strike. We'll bring you right up to date on all the scores of the other games at the end of the inning. The 1-1 pitch, inside and high. He really had the mustard of that pitch. Early can throw hard. Arnold has had a lot of experience at the top minor league level and about a year and a half in the major leagues. The 2-1 delivery, a swing and a miss on a fastball. It's 2-2. Chicago released the veteran left-hander Billy Heft to make room on their roster and pitching staff for Arnold Early. The 2-2 delivery, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Early fans Chuck Hiller. Prior to striking out, Chuck had reached on a walk, reached on a fielder's choice, and doubled home Ed Brusseau.
Right fielder, Al Luplow.
Al Luplow has slid to left, fouled out to Randy Hundley, the catcher, and bounced out to first, 0-3. Now the pitch on the way, and the curve is low. 1 ball and no strike. Off the outside corner at the knees, 2 balls and no strikes. Eddie Craneville waiting to hit next. Now Early goes behind 3-0 on Al Luplow. Now the pitch on the way, and the fastball is inside. Ball 4, and Luplow goes to first. If the Mets can win this ball game and take the rubber game of the series, the Mets then will have won 12 out of their last 16 ball games. They will close out the month of July with a record of 18-14. The dog days of July and August in baseball are when the teams with less talent usually fade. The Mets in the month of July have had the best baseball month of their 4.5-year history. Pitch to Craneville. He held up on the swing in time, and it was outside. Ball 1. They have a strike on the scoreboard. We'll wait to check on Mel Steiner. It was not a strike. He held up in time. It's 1 ball and no strike. New York, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. Chicago, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. Bottom half of the 7th inning. 1 out and 1 on as Arnold Early checks the runner. Pitch by the left-hander is under the knees. 2 balls and no strikes. Banks holding against the base runner, Al Luplow. And the fastball gets the inside corner for a strike, 2-1. Larry Elliott, also a left-hand hitter, is waiting on deck. The runner goes, hit and run play, and a foul pop-up over by the tarp down the third baseline. It's out of play. Ron Spano trailing it back, but it's over into the crowd. So the runner, Al Luplow, heads back to first base. The count is 2-2 on Eddie Craneville. Early toes the pitching slab. Pitch to Kranepool, a drive in the air, well hit the center, cutting over is Phillips, and he rolls over and comes up with it. Adolfo Phillips lunged forward, caught the ball, somersaulted, held on to it, and came up with a catch. Ball fooled Adolfo. It was a sinking line drive that was slicing, a tough ball to handle. Now there are 2 men away, and the hitter is Larry Elliott. Larry has reached on a walk, fly to short left, and grounded out to first. Nothing for 2. Curve over, strike 1 call. Now the pitch to Elliott breaks away from the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Down in the dirt, handled by Randy Hundley. 2 balls and a strike. Arnold Early is a resident of Lincoln Park, Michigan. He actually has credit for 6 years of the major leagues. We said only about 1.5 years. He's had 6 years. He first came up to the Red Sox in 1961. Now the 2-1 delivery. Fastball that's high, 3-1. He came up briefly in 1960. He was in only 2 games. Then spent half of the 61 season with Boston and the next 4 seasons. Three-one delivery, way inside, and he powdered that fastball but missed the strike zone, and the Mets have 2 men on. Luplow moves to second, Elliott down to first, and now Cleon Jones comes up. Interestingly enough, Arnold Early was in 57 ball games last year and figured in only 1 decision. While we have a conference at the mound, let's pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
At 810 on your dial, this is your New York Mets station in the great Northeast, WGY Schenectady.
Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson from Shea Stadium. Bottom half of the 7th inning. Mets have now received 7 walks in this game. Starting pitcher Bill Hands walked 5. Arnold Early has now walked 2. Ground ball hit by Cleon, trickling foul down the third base line. Ferguson Jenkins on call now in the Chicago Cub bullpen. Now Early checks the runners at first and second. And Cleon hits a high fly to left center field. It's fairly deep. Back goes Brown, and Brown makes the catch on the warning track in left center. The wind held that one up. The wind is blowing in now from the center field toward home plate. Whether it would have gone out or not without any wind, I don't know, but it certainly would have been close. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left on. Mets have had 9 left on base over the first 7. At the end of 7 innings, the New York Mets 2 and the Chicago Cubs nothing. In the National League, in the first game of a doubleheader at Forbes Field, Jim Bunning went the route. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh 8-1. Bunning winning his 11th. Law was the loser. Bill White had a 3-run homer. For Bill White, his 18th home run of the year. The warm-up pitchers for the second game in Pittsburgh: Bob Buell for Philadelphia. He's 5-5. Steve Blass for the Pirates, 8-5 on the year. Houston 3, Cincinnati nothing at the end of 7.5. Dave Justy for the Astros. They're trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. Jack Balshin has relieved Milt Pappas in the 8th inning, and that is the first game of a doubleheader. The St. Louis Cardinals riding a 6-game win streak, and they've won 12 out of their last 13. The Cardinals lead the Dodgers 4-3 after 6.5. Ron Pache is in relief of Steve Carlton. Osteen, Miller, and now Peronowski for the Dodgers. The game's only home run by Stewart with nobody on. Giants 2 and the Braves nothing after 3.5. Bob Boland pitching against the Braves' Dick Kelly. The White Sox, behind the pitching of Joe Horland, lead the Yankees 4-1 going to the 8th inning. Whitey Ford is in relief of Fritz Peterson, and that is the first game of a doubleheader. Kansas City 1, Detroit nothing after 2.5. Monbouquet against Jim Nash, the opener of a twin bill. In a single game, the Red Sox, scoring 3 in the 8th inning, beat Washington 5-2. McMahon the winner in relief of Bennett. Lyons the loser in relief of Hannon. Now a swing and a miss as we go to the 8th inning with Adolfo Phillips leading off. The Boston-Washington game, Tony Canigliaro and Big Frank Howard had home runs. Baltimore 3, Minnesota nothing after 6.5. Eddie Watt pitching for the Orioles and Jim Cott for the Twins. Cleveland at California, it'll be Steve Hargan against Fred Newman. Here's the windup by Shaw, and the fastball is over. Strike called. So Bob Shaw has a 2-strike count on leadoff batter Adolfo Phillips. Today's crowd at Shea Stadium, 21,877. Curve outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Wes Westrom has his late inning specialist, Jack Hamilton, and Rob Gardner getting ready in the bullpen. Pitching 1 and 2. Ground ball hit down to third. Foul by Kenny Boyer, and Adolfo Phillips is on. It's an error turns to Ken Boyer. Now Bob Shaw will have his work cut out for him, as the big hitters will be coming up here in the 8th inning with somebody on. The batter now is the second baseman Glenn Beckert, hitting .274. Today, he has grounded to short, line to center, and slide to right. And moving out of the on-deck circle, right fielder Billy Williams. Now the stretch by Shaw. Here's his pitch. Curve outside, 1 ball and no strikes. So this might very well be another cliffhanger. Let's have the infield straight away at double play depth. Foul ball back over the screen, no play. 1 ball, 1 strike. So far this year, the Mets have played 27 games decided by the margin of 1 run. He had the hitter badly fooled with a breaking ball, but he held up in time. It's outside, 2 balls and a strike. In the cliffhangers, the 1-run ball games, the Mets have won 15 and the opposition has won 12. In the extra inning ball games, the Mets have won 4 and the enemy has won 3. Two-one delivery. Hit deep down the right field line. It may go foul. And a foul ball in the right field corner. Now Shaw has a 2-2 count on second baseman Glenn Beckert. Beckert stepping out for a moment to glance down toward the third base coach, Pete Reeser. The runner goes on a hit-and-run play. It's a base hit on a soft line drive down the right field line. Racing to third is Adolfo Phillips. Beckert going to second. He's out at second. And in to score comes Adolfo Phillips. Phillips comes around to score. Beckert tried to stretch the ball into a double, and he's thrown out by Al Luplo with Eddie Brasseur putting the tag on him. Mets had to make a decision as to whether or not to make the play on Beckert coming into second or to pass that up and play at the plate. And since they were in front 2-0, they elected to get the out at second. No RBI on the play. The run comes in to score on the play at second base. So it's a 2-1 ball game. The Cubs have broken through. That was an unusual play. Billy Williams up. Takes outside ball one. Beckert, a right-hand hitter, hit a very soft line drive. It was almost like going in slow motion. Tantalizingly just beyond the reach of Kranepool, and when it hit in behind him, it almost rolled to a stop. Luplo had to come racing in from right field to get to it. Beckert, who can run, tried to get into scoring position where he would have represented the tying run. Fastball for a strike. 1-1 on Billy Williams. Billy has bounced out twice and reached on a walk. Now a check swing and a foul ball out of play. New York 2, Chicago 1. A good one. We're in the 8th inning. One man away, nobody on. Billy Williams, the hitter. And Ron Santo is on deck. Pitching 1-2. Inside curveball, pulled foul past the Mets dugout, no play. Billy Williams, a power hitter, and the Mets play him deep, both in the infield and the outfield, and swing the defense far around to right. The 1-2 delivery. A changeup is popped up, but will not be playable. Back into the crowd. Count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes on Billy Williams. Delivery way inside. That one almost nicked Billy down around the ankles, but he got out of the way of it. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Bob Shaw delivers 2-2. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. Shaw came with his fastball and fanned Billy Williams. For Bob Shaw, his 5th strikeout of the game. So he takes care of a very difficult hitter and now contends with another in Ron Santo. Santo has flied deep to right, reached on a walk, and singled to center field. Each team has 4 hits in the game. Here's the pitch to Sano. Gets the inside corner, strike one call. Ryan is hitting .310. Top of the eighth inning, 2 outs, nobody on. 2-1 New York. And a swing and a miss on a slider, and the count is strike 2. Ernie Banks dealing in the on-deck circle, watching Bob Shaw. Timing a couple of swings. And now Sano wants the ball looked over by Mel Steiner. And Mel shows the ball to Ron Sano, and then returns it to the mound to Bob Shaw. Here's the 2-strike delivery. It's under the knees. Ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Whitey Lockman coaching on first, and Pete Reeser coaching at third. Cubs have scored their first run of the game here in the 8th inning. Curve he held up just in time, and it broke outside. Shaw thought he had him struck out. Bob getting some support from the Mets fans. Sano started after it, but he had that good, strong bat control and held that swing up just in the nick of time. Now it's 2-2 on the Cubs' third baseman. Down comes the 2-2 delivery. Curve, a high fly ball to right field. Luplow is coming in. He yells off Hiller, and he makes the catch to side is out. So Bob Shaw did a good job of getting the 2 big hitters, Billy Williams and Ron Sano. The run will be unearned. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and none left on. And at the end of 7.5 innings, it's the New York Mets 2, the Chicago Cubs 1. And now here's a word from Rheingold.
We don't know the reason, we can't tell you why. For people like Rheingold, the beer extra dry. But we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something right. Yes, we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something right. Rheingold beer.
Now the last of the 8th inning, and Ken Boyer will be up against Arnold Early. Smith got a fine defensive play by Al Luplow to help them out. As the Cubs scored their run in the 8th inning, Al came charging in on that soft bloop hit down the right field line by Becker. He made a wonderful throw. And they nailed Becker at second. When Bersu was toppled over in making the play at second, Phillips, the speedster, then broke and came down the line to score. Kenny Boyer looks it over. It's high, ball 1. Chicago in the 9th inning. We'll have Ernie Banks, Byron Brown, and Randy Hundley coming up against Bob Shaw. Foul ball, right straight back, no play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Arnold Early pitching his 2nd inning in relief. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball hammered down to third. What a play by Sano. He spins around. He throws out at first. Ron Sano grabbed that one right off of his hip, going to his glove side. Spun completely around, and then threw across to Ernie Banks, and Boyer is out. One out and nobody on. Here's Eddie Bersu. Eddie has grounded out and has been on base twice with walks in this game. Pitch by Arnold Early is low outside, ball one. Tomorrow night, the Mets and the Giants at 8 p.m., and there are good reserved and box seats available. A well-hit drive to left center. Racing back is Adolfo Phillips. He can't reach it. It's over his head. Bounces against the fence. And Eddie goes into second base with a long double. For Eddie Berceau, his seventh double of the year, he hit that one over the head of Adolfo Phillips. It landed on the warning track and bounced up against the fence in left center. Well, the Mets would dearly love to bring him around for an insurance tally. Jerry Grote is the batter. Ferguson Jenkins is warming up again in the Chicago bullpen. Jerry has grounded out, struck out, and reached on a walk. Nothing for two. It's over at the knees, strike one call. Next Sunday will be Banner Day here at Shea Stadium. All the banners go on parade and display between games of the doubleheader between the Mets and the Cardinals. Those Cardinals have been something else of late. They had a 6-game win streak. They lost the ball game. Now they've won 6 more, and they're trying to make it 7. And they're ahead of the Dodgers 4-3 going to the last of the 8th inning. Joe Horner is now on in relief. Early's pitch on the way. It's in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Things have kind of fallen into place just right for St. Louis since Orlando Cepeda and Charlie Smith, who were both injured, returned to the lineup. The 1-1 pitch, outside and high, 2-1. Bob Shaw is the on-deck hitter. We're in the last of the 8th inning. The Mets lead 2-1. And a swing and a miss at a high hard one. It's 2-2 on Jerry Grote. This is Arnold Early's first appearance with the Chicago Cubs. He joined the Cubs yesterday here in New York. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. Early stands Jerry Grote. 2 men down. For Arnold Early, his second strikeout. And now the batter is Bob Shaw. Bob getting a nice end for his superb pitching. The White Sox have won the opener from the Yankees at Comiskey Park today, winning 4-1 on a 5-hitter by Joe Horlet. Fritz Peterson was the loser. No home runs in the game. The White Sox had 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. The Yankees 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. Boston won a single game from Washington, 5-2. Fastball is high, 1 ball, no strikes. Hank Bauer's high-flying Orioles from Baltimore are out in front of Minnesota 4-0 after 7.5. And they have their rookie right-hander, Eddie Watt, on the mound. Watt has won 7 and lost only 2. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last year, Eddie Watt opened the Eastern League season by pitching a no-hit ball game. He went on to add another no-hitter before the year was over. The 1-1 pitch. Missing outside, 2 balls and a strike. Mets have an insurance tally in the form of Ed Brusu on second if they can pick him up. They're operating on the attack with 2 men down. 2 balls and a strike on Bob Shaw. Inside, belt high, ball 3, 3-1. Bob has been on base twice today. He singled to right in the 3rd inning. Check that he's been on base once. He popped up trying to move a runner in the 5th inning and hit into a force play in the 6th inning. Arnold Early with a 3-1 count on the Mets pitcher, Bob Shaw. And the pitch. A strike on the outside corner. Shaw bluffing that stride toward first base is brought back by Mel Steiner. Full count, 3-2. And the pitch by the left-hander. A swing and a miss, he struck him out. So Early in 2 innings of relief has struck out 3. Last of the 8th inning, no runs, 1 hit, a double by Ed Brusu. No errors, and 1 left on.
At the end of the game, please cooperate by using the nearest exit. Thank you.
Arnold Early making his debut with the Cubs, worked 2 innings, allowed no runs, 1 hit. Walked 2 and struck out 3, and will be going to the 9th inning. At the end of the 8th, the New York Mets 2 and the Chicago Cubs 1. Willie Mays will be coming into Shea Stadium tomorrow night with 529 career home runs. Willie now only 5 whallops behind old Double X, Jimmy Fox, in the number 2 spot of the all-time home run derby. Good box and reserve seats available for all 4 games of the Giant Series. 3 night games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights, and Thursday afternoon. Now, before we go to the 9th, let's pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
At 810 on your radio dial, this is your Met station in the great Northeast, WGY Schenectady.
Ernie Banks leading off in the top of the 9th inning with New York in front 2-1. Here's the windup by Shaw. Now the pitch. A smash on the ground, a short glove handed by Eddie Brusu. The peg to first, 1 out. Good play by Ed Brusu. That ball was nice across the ground. It was spiked hard. Now Byron Brown, the left fielder. Byron Brown has singled to center, been called out, and been robbed of a hit by Ken Boyer. The windup and the pitch to Brown, and it's way outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Bob Shaw trying to win his 9th of the year. Down comes his pitch to Brown. A ground ball hits the first base bag. Grabbed by Kranepool. Shaw covering. He's out. Now there was a play for you by Eddie Kranepool. The right-hander hit a ball right down the first baseline and actually hit the cushion. Well, when it hit the cushion, it took a crazy bounce away from Kranepool. And Eddie made a head-first dive, and with his glove hand outstretched, he snagged it, and then had time to get up and flip the ball to Shaw, who came over to cover. Mets have had some fine fielding in this ball game. 2 outs, nobody on. The hitter is Randy Hundley, the Chicago catcher. He has lined to center, grounded out to second, and fouled out to Grody, who made quite a play. Swing and a miss on a curve, strike 1. Bob Shaw into his windup. Down comes the pitch. It's low outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Randy Hundley. The 1-1 delivery. Ground ball hit past the mound. It may go through and does for a base hit to center. The tying run is on as Randy Hundley singles to center. That will bring up the switch-hitting shortstop, Don Kessinger. He has had 6 base hits in the 3-game series. The opening game of the series, Friday night, he had 2 bunt singles and a double to right center. And he had 2 hits in last night's game. In today's game, Kessinger has 1 for 3. He's batting left against right-hander Bob Shaw. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball over, strike 1 called. Each team has 5 hits in the game. Lee Thomas has come out in the on-deck circle to bat for Arnold Early. Here's the pitch on the way. A ground ball to third, knocked down by Boyer. He's up with it, throws, and the game is over. The Mets win it 2-1 on a 5-hitter by right-hander Bob Shaw. In the 9th inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. Final score, the New York Mets 2 and the Chicago Cubs 1.
And that's Mets baseball for today, brought to you by Rheingold, New York City's largest selling beer. And what a remarkable thing that is. In New York, a city of so many different people with different tastes, one beer has become the favorite, Rheingold Extra Dry. They don't know why so many people like their beer, but they must be doing something right. Today's game was also brought to you by WGY, your sports station for the Great Northeast. WGY will bring you the full schedule of the Mets' regular season games live from Major League parks throughout the country. Be with us Monday at 7:55 when we'll present another exciting New York Mets baseball game over 810 on your radio dial. It's now 25 minutes until 5 o'clock, and now WGY joins the NBC radio network for Monitor. The program is in progress.